guys, Adventureruler, and please excuse the sound of my voice there if it sounds a bit weird. I went to the beach with my family for the 4th of July, and it was tons of fun, but definitely caught something. Also, in my usual fashion of making these, I didn't post the newest champions analysis the weekend after the tournament weekend, because, that's usually how I do it, but I just had so much to do. I had to mow the lawn. That took at least 1-2 days because I live on a freaking countryside. That's where my house is at. I went to the beach during that week, 4th of July week. Then the day right after that, it was a barbecue. It was just no time, to sit down and just watch these matches, But enough rambling about my personal life, and it's time to ramble about Nomic, the second place winner of the UnDying Light tournament number 4. He was the second place winner of that tournament. That one was held on April 26th, 2025. Has finally fought his way to the top in the tournament number 6. In the 6th one of these. That one was held on June 28th. That's the one we all know. And for the people who were there, that's what they saw. And today, I'm going to do a stock analysis of him for all of you today. Let's do it to it. Crazy that game 1 of the entire tournament is where Nomic's adventure begins. I think Meowier had that same experience too. He was the first one to fight and the one to end it all too. He began playing as early as round 1 of pools, yeah. His opponent was Dwight, a newcomer to the tournament, and the number 2 Isabel in Texas, as they say, I don't know. In their first match, they take it to Yoshi's store. Here we go. First blood, it goes to Nomic. Thanks to his perfect wave bounce with PK Fire and range management, lands the first attack. Also, Dwight dropping his shield. Maybe they thought he wasn't in range to reach. Oh, but Nomic was. So Nomic wasn't afraid to approach Dwight, as he kept shooting him and running at him with attacks. Dwight was intercepting with a few moves here and there, but I personally think they were just trying to get Nomic off them. They did get a nice little conversion at the top plat after Dwight air dodged Nomic's chase from below, booming him as an interception. But Nomic finds the first stock in the first minute of their first fight, and it goes like this. Dwight is dead center of the stage, digging a Lloyd rocket into the ground. Nomic fast falls from above with a PK kick that hits Dwight in the back of the head, but also the Lloyd rocket. Somehow Nomic didn't take damage from it. Personally, I don't know how Isabel's whole toolkit works to a T, because I rarely fight this character, but I guess Isa is vulnerable while she's digging in the dirt, I guess. Anyways, the explosion sends Dwight flying to the right. Nomic tries for a PK Fire to catch a fast fall from Dwight right as they are trying to rush to the ledge for safety. But Dwight jumps instead, and to cover their landing, they throw out the triple turnip. But they did this attack way too early, and Nomic just jumped up there and whiff punished Dwight out of the air with a headbutt. It was a late whiff punish for sure, but Isabel's turnip move is one of those strong but punishable attacks. After the stock was taken, Nomic was very elusive, jumping to plats, keeping distance as Dwight tries to catch him. They were getting a few hits here and there, but nothing too big yet. Until now. Dwight runs at Nomic and throws their pot at him. This pops Nomic up in a great position for Dwight to attack him again. Nomic. Now personally, I think this is just a habit Nomic has where, immediately after hit stun, he throws out a move. I think, because a lot of people do that. Because watch this. Nomic, the move he did out of hit stun was a headbutt, and it actually hit a fly guy. Personally, I don't know if he meant to do this or not, I said I think it's a habit some people have, but the hit stun from the headbutt kept Nomic there, and a stunned Nomic, let Dwight jump up and snipe him with their slingshot, taking the stock at 106%, all thanks to the fly guy. Man, I love hazards. I bet Dwight thanks that little fly guy for the kill assist. But after this, Nomic went into overdrive, chasing Dwight even more now. right? Even almost getting a PK freeze kill. After Boit released themselves from the ice block, Boit rushed back to the center stage, but Nomic fell with a PK neutral air, dragging Boit down with him, hitting a sweep into a triple pummel into up throw, taking Boit's second stock. Not too soon later, both fighters were at each other's throats, hitting each other back and forth. Now something I want to point out is Nomic's signature ledge trick. Excuse me, check this out. Nomic was hit off stage with whatever move, right? He immediately uses his snake buddy to bite the ledge. Now you'd think he then just lets the snake pull him instantly to grab ledge himself, right? As that would be the safest option. But no, he actually cancels the snake before he's pulled in and uses his double jump and goes for a PK fire as soon as he's at the perfect height to snipe his opponent waiting at ledge for him. Pretty clever. Alright, I just want to show off that, I just want to show that to everybody, because it's a very useful trick for extra damage, and I'm sure we will see it again in the future. To end game 1, Nomic falls onto Boit with another PK neutral air, but instead of dragging them down or using the multi-hit of the attack, Nomic cuts it short by landing on the ground next to them and using a PK up tilt as Boit tried to jump out of shield. Game 1 goes to Nomic. Game 2. Newcomer White. White. I don't know if I'm saying Dwight, White, Boit. Newcomer Boit takes the fight to Minecraft world. La 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 lava, chicken. So the formation that Minecraft world takes in this fight is a pile of hay to the left and an unfinished wooden house to the right. As for the first blood, that goes to Newcomer Boit. As Nomic was busy trying to destroy the wooden house, right, as I said earlier, probably so it isn't in his way later in the fight, he noticed Boit was setting up their zone game with the Lloyd and fishing rod. At least, that's what I think. So Nomic jumped off the house and towards Boit. But they were ready with their double turnip attack, and they'd comboed into a second one to start off the fight with a 21% lead. Very soon in the fight, as the two fought between the two obstructions, Nomic and Boit went back and forth. Nomic getting hits here and there, and Boit trying to keep that distance. The entire time, the hay slowly was being destroyed as well. Nomic getting a very nice footstool out of the headbutt and into a jab lock combo, but the last pile of hay kind of screwed his combo up, as after he kicked the hay out of existence, he went for a forward smash, but it didn't hit in time due to the hitbox extension from the hay, right? The first stock goes to Nomic, and how he did that was doing a PK F-tilt, beating Boit's boom attack to the punch, and then a very unnecessary tether cancel double jump PK fire snipe, at least I think. He could have just double jumped and shot it from where he was, right? He didn't have to be all fancy with it. But as the fight goes on, Boit tries to set up some kind of zone game, but kept messing up their auto cancel slingshots. They did set up a Lloyd, but it didn't do much as Nomic just jumped over them, and Nomic is finding those stray hits here and there, like Nair's in his biting snake attack. He did get a Nair into sweep with then into a down throw on Boit. A second stock in a row for Nomic as he lands to the PK neutral air, drifting towards Boit, lands the sweep, and goes for a headbutt, because Boit was just, at such a high percent that the sweep would send them too high for the grab. Now, with Nomic in the lead and a game up, he takes it back a notch, and it's smart as he was at 156, and any of Boit's strong moves should seal a stock. But Nomic finally decides, and Boit has him where they want him. I don't know why I wrote that. Nomic got a bit cocky and thought he could get an early spike on Boit as they accidentally pressed the buttons off stage. But Nomic fell out of the attack, and Nomic forced himself to recover with PK Thunder. And unfortunately for Nomic, he didn't aim correctly, so he slid up the wall and missed the ledge. And trying one last chance to maybe slip by Boit, Boit rips a party popper right in his professional face. Alright? Boit managed to seal at least one stock for themselves. Now, even though Nomic didn't get the spike he wanted earlier, he did now. Nomic finds a grab in neutral and throws Boit backwards. Boit tries for a stagnant fishing rod in midair, but they held onto the fishing rod for a little too long, almost as stinging themselves to the bottom of the blast zone, but didn't even matter as Nomic just chased him down there before Brights could recover with their balloons, marking the 2-0 for Nomic. Game 2 of Nomic's matches is against Lucario 1, the previous champion. Nomic had a second chance at shooting for the tippy top that day. I think this is the second time Nomic has met face to face with a champion. And you saw the title of the video, so let's see how he did it. Game 1. These gentlemen take it to Yoshi's story. First blood goes to Nomic. Strong start as Lucario 1 jumped off stage to get a free aura charge. He accidentally air dodged past the ledge, and when he did a regular getup and tried to jump away from Nomic, he caught him with a PK Nair. Now, you know these two are good. To me, it looked like the first 30 seconds, both fighters were just feeling each other out, you know, respecting each other's range and counter-attacking ability. It's always cool to watch. When the fight returned, though, Nomic actually had a quadruple snake bite into PK Fair on Lucario 1. Impressive stuff. But the first stock goes to Lucario 1, of course. Come on. He's the previous champion after all, right? Lucario 1 charges Aura, baiting Nomic into pulling out PK Absorb, which Lucario takes that time to jump towards him and fall with his Aura Spin. Nomic only pulled out his Absorb for like a second, so he was ready to block. Nomic was so ready that he was ready to counterattack with a PK front kick, but he got frame advantaged. Lucario hit him with an Aura kick just in time. Lucario goes for the chase with another Aura kick, but Nomic was able to dodge that one. And ladies and gents, this is when Nomic's ledge trick bit him in the behind this time. After the air dodge, he sends his snake to bite the ledge, but he wanted to get some damage with PK Fire, so he canceled it and shot one at him. But Lucario 1 shot his Aura Sphere at the same time, going through the PK Fire. And with no jumps, Lucario just chases him down there with an Aura double kickers. And of course, as these things go, both of these pros are going back and forth, putting on percent. Lucario 1 takes a second stock in a row. Nomic tried to get back to center stage by air dodging anything Lucario might throw at him, which he managed to do. But he stood right behind Lucario 1. He stood right behind him where Lucario 1 loves his opponent's being. Right after he threw out his Aura kick, he fell with an Aura back air in that same jump. Now, with the feeling of Super Saiyan energy flowing through Lucario 1, was laying smackdown after smackdown. Nomic, maybe feeling desperate, right, from my POV, he threw out a sweep and an immediate grab after they both rolled to the right. But Lucario's feet weren't on the ground. He gets the 3-0 with another Aura back air to seal game 1. He's the champion! What do you guys expect? Game 2 of Nomic's second match of the tournament. Right, game 2 set 2. Him, now a game down, takes it to Mishima Dojo. And dude, him and Miaura love this map, man. Anyways, first blood in this intense fight between two pros was Nomic. It was a bit of a lucky first blood as both combatants were feeling each other out once again in the first 5 seconds. Lucario, which is interesting because in Mishima Dojo, it like spawns you into the map really close to each other. Like Sonic can F-smash you at that range. Very interesting that the stage is like that. Anyways, Lucario 1 decided to approach with a jump after Nomic shot a PK Fire, but again, Nomic gets another snake bite combo on him. But Lucario 1 is, I'm not sure what I wrote there, but he takes the first stock. At long range, Nomic shoots a PK Fire, but Lucario 1 was close enough to get hit, so Nomic tries another. But Lucario 1 calls this option out and snipes him out of his short hop with Aura Sphere, killing him at 76. That's crazy. Nomic was taking a little bit too long to snatch Lucario 1's stock before he could power up from his Aura. But no worries, Nomic, as he takes the stock for himself soon enough, at 153%. Lucario 1 tries for a jump and Aura charge to fall on Nomic, right, to get that little, the peppering damage, but Nomic intelligently intercepts with a PK kick anti-air. Now with both stocks even, both fighters go back and forth. And another stock for Nomic approaches. Nomic drifts behind Lucario 1 with a PK Nair, Lucario went for a counterattack. You could tell by this because a little light blinked near his character, right? But the attack didn't come out. And it wouldn't have mattered anyways, as Lucario was looking the wrong way. Nomic hits him with a sweep and a forward smash, sending Lucario through the right wall. Lucario recovers back to the stage quickly with his special move, Extreme Speed. But Nomic was ready with a PK Fire to catch where he landed, setting him back where he came from. And to clean up the second stock, Nomic double jumped and shot a PK Fire at the hole in the wall where Lucario jumped right into it, killing him at 109. Lucario 1 isn't done yet. Lucario blocks the PK Fire just in time as he was trying to approach Nomic, but he zoned him out nicely. But where Nomic messed up is he tried to predict a jump out of shield from Lucario, but dashed away instead. Then Lucario cleans up the next stock with a Force Palm the moment Nomic landed after his headbutt missed. Nomic was putting in work after he recovered from that Angel Plat, hitting PK Fires, counterattacking with his Nair, anti-airing with headbutts. Then, in neutral, Nomic shoots a PK Fire at a very safe distance, then called out a jump. Nomic wanted that earlier, which didn't work out, but this time it did. Nomic wins the counter pick. Game 3. Already his second set. They're taking it to last match, right? Both even points here. Game 3. It's now Lucario 1's counter pick, and he goes for Lucario's home turf. Kalos with hazards, baby! But Nomic started off smooth. First blood goes to him as the first 5 seconds into the match, he jumps into the air just as Lucario 1 did, drifting right outside the range of his Aura Spin, landing a PK flip kick into up tilt. Not a bad first blood. And as game 3s go, both fighters are back and forth, fighting to win their zone game and fighting to win any interceptions in the air. Nomic is winning a bit more as he just has, right, the much more reliable projectile, right, PK Fire, I think so. Right, comes out immediately after Lucas says the name of it, and it has a decent range. It also doesn't help that Nomic finally called out Lucario 1's bluff and was able to absorb an Aura Sphere just in time as he shot it through the flame walls of Kalos. And it ain't over yet. Lucario 1 sitting at 147%. That's plenty of Aura farming coming out for Lucario. Now he can SD. That's correct, ladies and gents. Lucario 1 accidentally fast falls after a jump, falling with forward air to his death. One stock for Nomic after a 2-minute back and forth. You hate to see it. But hey, could have been tournament nerves, right? Or a simple mistake. I don't know which. After Lucario 1 drops from the Angel Plat, he gets intercepted by a headbutt, and later gets bit 3 times in a row by Nomic's trusty snake buddy. But Lucario 1 finally gets one stock for himself. In neutral, Lucario dashes towards Nomic. He's ready to intercept his approach with the PK Fire, but Lucario 1 actually blocking one of these in time after several burns. Both jump at the same time, trading Nomic's headbutt with Lucario 1's Aura Kick. Lucario 1 wins that one, as he was at 109%, right? That's a lot of Aura. So he was just stronger in that situation. Oops, there goes my mouse. Nomic drops from the Angel Plat and chases him down like a cheetah, right? Chasing a deer. Lucario 1 was able to intercept once, but Nomic goes for a shot in neutral and it lands, sending Lucario far right. Then a second one in a row to clean up another stock. Lucario did manage to block one earlier in the fight and seal a stock because of it, but the PK Fires just keep on coming. But Lucario 1 doesn't give up. The steel-type formation of Kalos finally appears, right? Now, this is a beautiful adaptation to the stage and a strong mental to the double snipe he fell for moments earlier. Lucario 1 approaches with an Aura Spin. Nomic blocks it and was ready to counterattack, but Lucario 1's Aura Roundhouse beats Nomic to the punch, or kick in this case. Then, Nomic, preparing for his opponent to chase him, tries for air dodge on the way down. Lucario 1 reacts in time with a low push kick after Nomic lands with a back air that whiffed. Lucario 1 goes for a grab mix-up. Nomic punishes the whiffed grab with a PK up tilt. Nomic dashes to the left to try and get a strong punish on Lucario once he lands, but he overextended the dash. He ran straight into the giant sword with his face. Lucario 1 was able to hit him with another Aura Roundhouse. Nomic tried landing on him with Nair. but was inches away from hitting. But Lucario 1 forward smashes his approach, sending Nomic into the handle of the sword, right, sword number 1. And bouncing him to the right. That perfect timing from Lucario. The swords decided to unsheath themselves from the stage and spin midair, right where Nomic was. The sword assist for Lucario gets him a second stock. Hazards! Woohoo! Even though it looks awesome, and the scuffle that happened before it, for that to even occur was badass, Nomic didn't even care. He kept on fighting and finds the final stock by catching Lucario 1, going for a full hop, and once again, Nomic snipes his ass with a PK fire. The 2-1 goes to Nomic, eliminating the previous champion of the Undying Light tournament. Yeah, unfortunately, Lucario 1's counter pick did not come in clutch as he may have hoped, because the liquid metal didn't show up, right? Alright, and give Lucario 1 that armor he could have taken advantage of, right? But hey, it happens. Hazards are a double-edged sword. It can help you or it can screw you, right? No matter who you are or which character you're using. Set 3 of Nomic's run was against D Bananas, and they take it to Yoshi's story for their first fight. First blood goes to Nomic, slowly but surely following Bananas as he played around the plats patiently. Nomic landed right next to him, right on the left plat. D Bananas, a tad slow on the reaction, swiped at him, but Nomic blocked it and counterattacked with a PK kick. Later in the fight, Nomic drops from the left plat with a headbutt that Banana blocks. He tried to cleanse Hazard out of shield, but Nomic auto-canceled the move perfectly and blocked his counterattack. Nomic then countered his counterattack with a neutral air. Then followed up with a PK flip kick. Bananas air dodged, right, so he could avoid any pressure and get to ledge. But Nomic reacted just in time. He dropped from left plat once again, this time doing PK stomps. The first one slightly spiked Bananas, but that was just enough to move him millimeters far from the ledge to grab it. Nomic took the first stock in only under a minute. Now, you'd think Bananas would rush at him like a meathead, alright? Trying to get his lick back, right? I'm just saying like in general, right? Anyone that gets spiked, they ain't gonna like it. But Bananas actually took his time, utilizing his ability to charge limit, right? And staying far above Nomic. But Banana pulls the trigger. He goes for a Hail Mary finishing touch. I mean, hey, I get it. Right? I get impatient too after slowing down the match after a while. Or getting my ass spiked. Anyways, Nomic's counterattack was PK F-tilt. Then as Bananas was about to recover, Nomic throws out another PK stomps. This time the second stomp is the one that sent Bananas down. And it also traded. So unfortunately for Bananas, that's 2 stocks where he was spiked so far. This match is definitely showcasing the lack of ledge cling, right, that the character Cloud has, right? It's been like that since Smash 4. Another move that has been somewhat unfavored by most casual smashers is PK Rocket, right? As Nomic accidentally SDs by doing that special move towards center stage, but aimed it wrong, slid off the left plat and then off stage. Maybe Nomic was feeling himself a little too much. Later in the fight, Nomic finds a reversal in Bananas. Finds a reversal against Bananas after he found a great opening with Limit Blade Beam, but was underneath him and got a PK F-tilt, sending him off stage. Bananas tried to recover it, he screwed up. Personally, I think what Bananas was trying to go for was an early Clem Hazard, because maybe he saw Randall there, and I think he tried to hit Nomic for some damage, right, and land on Randall, right, like kind of go for 2 birds, 1 stone. But Randall didn't feel like it, right? He didn't feel like being a helping hand today. So Bananas just ended up being barely out of reach. He ended up being barely out of reach 3 times in a row. That's crazy. Game 2 of Nomic versus D Bananas. Alright, Nomic's 3rd set of the tournament. Banana goes for the double counter pick. He switched to Joker. A first look in the Undying Light tournament, right? I thought he only used Cloud. Interesting stuff. As for his stage, he goes Pokemon Stadium 1. First blood goes to Nomic because D Bananas accidentally did his double kickers the wrong way, and Nomic's little buddy was hungry. So for the first 40 seconds of the match, Nomic was pretty much in control until Bananas got Arsene. Then the turntables. After the ground type form changed back to normal type, Nomic takes the first stock by running at Bananas when both were in neutral and calling out a full hop with headbutt. This is game 2 of their set though, and Bananas has showed adaptability. Bananas finally takes a stock from Nomic himself by approaching with a short hop knife spin right over Nomic's PK absorb. Then, interestingly, Nomic going for a very courageous PK rocket above ledge, right? That Bananas easily covers with a knife swipe. But later in the battle, Nomic shows that it's not only Bananas' knife that's sharp, but also Nomic's wits. As he gets an auto-cancel headbutt as Bananas is standing right on ledge and combos it into a PK dunk. It's Lucas back air to be exact, but PK dunk sounds badass, so right, I'm gonna call it that instead. Bananas dying as early as 41%. Crazy. Now for more badassery. This time involving hazards. Yeah. Oh yeah. As Bananas drops from the angel platform, right? The stage transforms into the grass type. Nomic finds an intercepting up tilt. Then, no tech from Bananas, Nomic was able to follow up with a headbutt. That last attack was auto-cancelled thanks to the lowest center plat of the grass type form, which let Nomic combo it into another attack, PK kick. Then a beautiful wave dash onto the highest plat puts Nomic in the position to be able to grab Bananas after he almost passed through the plat. Down throw, then a PK fire to end that whole advantage state. Damn, bro, we're playing Ultimate? Nomic's playing Melee! Anyways, to end the 2-0, Nomic nicely, cleanly whiff punishes an Arsene back air with a Nair drag down into sweep into back throw. And unfortunate timing for D Bananas, but his Arsene meter runs out and is forced to recover with his only grappling hook. Which he doesn't reach. For those who... Yeah, he didn't reach. And now, Grand Finals of the Undying Light Tournament number 6. Nomic versus R2D2s. One of the original boys during the Smash 4 streaming days. That's right. He made it all the way to Grands. This is his first time joining. Look at that first try. He was already almost first try. You get a thumbs up, Arthur. Anyways, back to the analysis. They take their first match to Yoshi's. There's been a lot of Yoshi's story. I think every time Nomic has played, it's been Yoshi's. As game 1 goes. First blood goes to, well, Nomic, of course, after his insane movement in his last set is still going strong. How he achieved this was trying to go for his snake bites in neutral, but Arthur dodged them by rolling past him. But Nomic was close enough to run at him with a PK Nair. Since the fight began, Arthur was doing pretty good in the beginning. He was getting his grab combos, chasing Nomic down with dash attack, armoring through any attacks with electro shock, and getting the first stock. Arthur, sitting comfortably with stage control, waits for Nomic's ledge option. Nomic went for a roll, and Arthur just backed up and got the tipper of his forward smash. Nice. Nomic dropping shield in the middle of Arthur's double slice attack. Next stock was taken by Nomic. How he got it was adapting to how Arthur's recoveries were looking like. Nomic noticed Arthur would use his reflector, right, and fall with it to avoid getting sniped, then use up special from real low below the ledge. So Nomic waited and drifted downwards when Arthur tried flying upwards with PK stomps, spiking him. Later in the fight, Nomic takes another one, catching Arthur overextending for a spike of his own, right, as Nomic was recovering from an earlier attack he suffered. Arthur loses his stock as early as 53%. Yikes. And to me, it's surprising, right? I know my friend's play style, and he knows when to slow down, right? Control the pace, you know, fight more zone heavy, play more smart, right? Maybe Arthur got fired up to get that lick back. And, well, he sure did. Arthur getting caught with a few PK fire snipes as Nomic was recovering, adapted to Nomic's ledge plays, and parries Nomic's PK fire, then runs in and catches Nomic ledge jumping to get around him. Right? Evening up the stocks with an up smash. But game 1 does end up in Nomic's grasp, as Arthur's final stock of match 1 goes like this. After a whiff down smash by Arthur, Nomic drops from the left plat with a snakebite attack, and no tech from Arthur, he decides to roll away for safety. But Nomic reacts to that option and forces Arthur to self-suck. I'm just kidding, he up to him. He forced him to self-suck. Like, how does that even work? How does that even work, bro? Game 2 of Arthur's counterpick is Pokemon Stadium 2. Let's see if any elemental types favor Arthur in Game 2. Arthur's chance to counter starts off strong as he perfectly spins his bow sword into Nomic's head. At the same time, Nomic goes for a PK kick, right? Dodging his attack and landing an attack of his own, right? That was a beautiful first blood. As the fight continues, both of these combatants are scrapping. First stock goes to Arthur again. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Arthur accidentally utilized the speed boost of the electric type form's left conveyor belt, right, to be able to run under Nomic in time and connect that up smash. Personally, it looks like the conveyor belt still works, even like while the stage is going back to normal type. That's badass! Nomic drops from the plat and slowly but surely gets Arthur off stage and cleanly gets Arthur into position to kill him. How he did this was he used his special move PK Thunder to collide with Arthur's Electroshock, which caused Darkbit to want to reflect the Thunderbolt, but just moved closer to Nomic for a PK F-tilt. That was a beautiful way to edge guard, right? And watching it in slow motion, right, on my own time, it looks really cool. Later in the fight, Nomic acquires a second stock. This happened because Arthur tried to catch another ledge jump with his sword spin attack, which Nomic did, but canceled his jump with his snake buddy. Arthur did tech this time, but Nomic's sweep is too fast of an attack. So after Arthur got up, he ate the sweep, got grabbed, then up thrown. Nomic steals another stock later after a tricky recovery, right, from Nomic. Alright, I had Arthur guessing, and Nomic's projectiles kept him safe from getting his fingers cut, right, if he tries to re-grab ledge with no invincibility. Arthur tries a quick down smash, but Nomic was above him. So Nomic just dropped down, whiff punishes with his sweep into PK F-tilt that killed Arthur at 130 near ledge. Game 3 of Arthur's second counter pick against Nomic was the exciting but unpredictable Midgar. I love this stage. I played with Jonic a few weeks back. It's really exciting. Yeah, because just the summons. The summons are cool. Anyways, first blood goes to Nomic, kicking Arthur right in the face after he whipped a down tilt. First stock goes to Nomic, though unfazed by Ifrit's flamethrower attack, right, snipes Arthur as he intelligently takes advantage of the fact that, right, if it's your Ifrit summon, the flames do not hurt you. But Arthur rolls in and eats a frozen treat. Looks like Nomic is just, he's a really high level ice type versus a low level fire type. Right? The typing doesn't matter no more. The other guy's just stronger. And Nomic might as well rent an ice cream truck because not too soon later he snipes Arthur's ass again with another one, killing him at 73%. Arthur tried recovering low again, but Nomic was ready. Fortunately for Arthur, though, he was able to get a stock with the help of his trusty bow. Arthur charges and shoots an arrow that barely hit Nomic in the head, right in the forehead. But something happened with his snake buddy where the momentum dropped Nomic like a rock, forcing him to recover with PK Rocket. And personally, I don't think Nomic was ready for it, right? By the way, he just immediately flew into the stage, and then when he had a second, right, PK Thunder, his lightning bolt touched the stage, right? And then that made him just fall to his death. And Lastly, for Nomic's final interaction with Arthur, goes like this. Arthur going for a dash attack, clanks with Nomic's PK fire, but losing to the fiery blast, sends him to the left, and not wanting to land on the electrified platform created by Nomic's summon Rama, triple jumps over it and falls with his orbiters. But Nomic continues his chase and uses PK Nair to keep Arthur close and combos it into a PK up tilt, getting the 3-0, the double 2-stock in a row, and first place in the Undying Light tournament. Hope you all enjoyed my stock analysis of Nomic, ladies and gents. Congratulations, Nomic, right? In his very convincing, right, grand finals. Right, at first the best he did was second, but not on June 28th. He proved he could be the best, and all he did was try again. Thanks for watching, guys.